1 second. All right, there we go. So our first activity group discussion today, we're going to we're going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurial process and key kind of entrepreneurial traits. So this is kind of the beginning of your official learning. As you all know, each one of you has varying levels of expertise. You all have diverse businesses and different industries, and also significant differences in how fully your business concepts are developed right now. Some of you have companies up and running, and others are still in the very early days of development. It makes you all very diverse, but it also, creates a great dynamic for learning from each other. Regardless of where you are, everyone definitely has something to still learn about running a successful business. But of course, we need a common ground to kind of start from. So we're going to ask you, to come with us on a journey right back to the beginning of starting a business. For some of you, this early content may be something that you've heard before, but I encourage you to kind of keep an open mind here. You may think you're beyond a topic, but odds are there may be some key things that you may have skipped as you have developed your business. So the focus in this first segment is the entrepreneurial process and key entrepreneurial traits. In here, we're going to lay a foundation for understanding entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial process and entrepreneurial success. We're going to look at what is entrepreneurship, what are the characteristics of successful entrepreneurs, and what are your own entrepreneurial traits. So here is our kind of starting place, a common definition for entrepreneurship. Becoming an entrepreneur means more than just starting a business. As we said, it's all about a mindset. So entrepreneurship, as we define it, is a process through which people pursue opportunity, use resources, and initiate change to create some type of value for others. Throughout this program, you will develop your entrepreneurial mindset and skills and apply them to your own business. Now, in entrepreneurship, there is certainly no straight line or path to success. Your job as an entrepreneur is to think like a pilot. It's about maintaining your altitude and correcting for the inevitable ups and downs that will for sure come your way if they haven't already. In order, the whole objective is just to stay airborne a lot of the times. So what makes an entrepreneur? Successful entrepreneurs are those who know, what is happening in an industry. They look for expanding markets. They predict how change and trends will also impact the marketplace. You're able to see, opportunity in the midst of chaos and act while others procrastinate. And that's why we chose you all for this program. More specifically, entrepreneurs are able to recognize an opportunity, identify an unmet need or want, and develop a product or service that meets it, something you guys have all done already. You're able to put together a sales and marketing plan, meaning you pinpoint prospects and ways to actually reach them. You're able to convert prospects to customers, because of course we don't have a business if we cannot do this part, which means you verify that others are actually willing to pay for the product and service and actually get them to pay for it. You're able to manage risk, meaning you educate yourself about potential risks and you take action to minimize or eliminate those risks. You're able to find financial capital, meaning you can determine the needed resources and where to actually find them and access them. And you build a management team, assembling a network of people to serve as advisors, employees, consultants, and mentors who have the information and skills that will help you succeed. It's a key part of being an entrepreneur. So let's do a little exercise to help us think about ourselves as entrepreneurs and what we kind of bring to the table. I want you to envision a very successful entrepreneur. Could be someone you know personally, could be local, it could be national, it could be international, it doesn't really matter. What traits does this person, this entrepreneur, possess? Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys this link here. I'm just gonna activate it. We're gonna do a little bit of a poll, so give me 1 sec. All right, should work. If it doesn't, oh, whoops. Okay. So what traits does this entrepreneur you're imagining possess? I'm just going to go to that screen. Are you guys able to access it?
Yes.
Okay, I can't see anything yet. That's strange. Am I doing this wrong? Okay, here we go. They're coming in now. So we have forward thinking, outgoing. Just take another minute. Keep going, guys. Tries.
I don't know why mine isn't showing.
It takes a minute to come through, Jenny.
Okay.
I was wondering the same thing.
All right, wait, let me do this. Oh, wow, there's a lot of views here. Sorry, I've never used this before, guys. As you can see, I'm messing around too much with it. Whoops. No, don't close. Okay. What just happened, Kelsey? What's that? I have to wait till they all come in again now?
Yeah, go back to where you were changing the view
Okay.
and go to cluster. They seemed like they
Cluster.
all show up there.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
There you go.
Save. There we go. Haha. Yes. Now we're gonna figure it out. Awesome. We have a lot of great things on here. Hardworking, outgoing, organized, adaptable, drive, persistence, determination, grit, resilience, critical thinker, resourceful, creative. Awesome. I love it. These are all great traits of entrepreneurs. The question is, do all of these, entrepreneurs that you're thinking of in your head, do they share these same characteristics? Do you share these characteristics? It's an interesting question, right? During your entrepreneurial journey, can you guys still see the screen? Still popping them in? Okay, good. You undoubtedly kind of find yourself comparing your business and your success or failings to those of others. But I want you to remember, there are no set or prescribed list of traits that are mandatory for entrepreneurial success. We're going to, explore common traits, and those will be explored in the manual. But we need to remember that all of you are unique and we're all different. I am a firm believer in playing to your strengths. So if there are some things on this list here that you're like, oh, wow, I don't have that, and I don't have this, that's okay. We must always keep learning. We must always keep growing. And, when you can afford to, you just hire for your true weaknesses. That's what good entrepreneurs really do. So my next question to you all is going to be this. Do you think entrepreneurs are born or made? And I have another poll here. Give me 1 second before you click it. So I just have to activate it. All right. Okay. Did it not work? There we go. It's coming in. Okay. So take a minute. Oh, wow. It's really shifting. Well, I think it seems pretty unanimous that the majority of you feel that entrepreneurs are typically made versus born, which, give me a sec, I'm just going to turn this back on. This is hard to kind of jump back and forth here. Sorry, everybody. It's one of those questions that doesn't really truly have an answer. Well, some character traits, are going to be part of your personality. You can always develop many of the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities that you feel you need to be successful. And that's why we're all here, really, aren't we? To grow and to expand our knowledge. I apologize. Give me 1 second. I have to let my dog out from behind me here. You want to go? You going? No? Okay. Sorry. He will be coming in and out a lot during this program. He doesn't have great manners. So in the readings for today that you're going to go through, we have a bit of a self-assessment exercise. And it's, it's in the reality check in the manual. It's called Entrepreneurial Traits, where you're going to start to evaluate yourself for common entrepreneurial characteristics. You will then prepare an action plan to strengthen those characteristics that you wish to further develop, either through this program or beyond us. Because a great entrepreneur is somebody who's always going to be learning. You're always going to be, gaining new skills. So please, before our next session, take some time. This is just kind of a quick view of what the entrepreneurial reality check looks like in the manual. So you're going to go through this and kind of follow along. Exercise is very simple. But yeah, complete that before our next session would be great. So I'm going to do one more poll with you all, because I want to know which of these traits listed here appear to come naturally to you. So give me a sec, go back here. Oh, I go too many things on my screen. 1 second. It's gonna be a lot of jumping back and forth.
We're just getting our daily exercise.
Yes. And now I've just lost my Zoom control panel. Where is it? There it is. Okay. All right. Here it is in the chat. Okay, so from this list you see on the screen, I want you to tell me which of these traits appear to come naturally to you.
Are we to choose one or as many?
As many as you want. If they all apply, throw them all in there. So self-confidence just came in. Energy. I can't share 2 screens at once, or I would put them both up. Give you guys another like 20 seconds. We'll take a look. Okay. So almost everything that's on that list is here now. So each of you have quite a diverse set of traits that you feel might come naturally to you. And all of these are complementary of the others, meaning if there's something you're missing, there's odds are someone else in this group has something that can complement what you're missing, or something to learn from them. So, everyone has things that come more naturally to you. And as I said, play to your strengths. That's a key thing. But you also need to identify where you are weak in your business as well. So I want to ask you now, which of those traits do you think you can develop? So same list. And I just need to give you the link now. And I'm going to be keeping all of these for later, because we're going to do an assessment towards the end of the program. Okay, there we go. One more. All right. So which here do you feel like you can reasonably develop throughout the program and throughout the next year? All right, we'll do another 10 seconds. So I'm not going to show you guys this list, but I'm going to keep it, and it's logging everything. And we're going to do this again at the end, and we'll of the program, and we'll see kind of, how do you feel about the traits that you've developed throughout the program. All right. Now, I want to ask, would anyone like to share how you've been successful, by overcoming a weak area in the past, since you've started your business, perhaps since you've been on this kind of entrepreneurial journey?
I can share.
Yeah, go for it.
And like I said, when I was first talking, I took a big leap of faith to leave my job with so many kids. But the scariest thing for me was putting myself out there. Like, okay, so I made this pattern and I sewed it together. I thought it was good enough for me, but is it good enough for other people? And that was like the scariest part for me, was just putting my product out there. And you take criticism regardless if it's positive or negative. And I was really scared about that. But once I did it, I was like, man, I took that leap and I'm so happy I did it. My main thing was just getting myself out there.
That's awesome. And I think that's definitely that's the biggest part of it, right? Is just taking that leap, doing that jump, and just, getting out there. Now, Jenny, was there something that inspired you, like a book you read, a quote you read, someone who you looked to kind of for inspiration to give you that kind of validation to move forward?
Oh yeah.
What was it?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, man. I saw her. No, I'm serious. I saw the documentary. The lady went to Harvard University, only 3 women taking law, and she made it to like the top 10 of her whole graduation. Her husband had cancer. She was doing his law school, helping him graduate, and being like in the top 10 of Harvard Law School. I was like, man, if that lady can do it, and especially in the 60s, I can so do this. Like, what am I holding myself back for? What am I doing? She did it. I can do it too. And it was so much harder back then for women, right? So I love that lady.
That's awesome. I would love it if each of you could throw something in the chat, like over the next few minutes, just while you're thinking, something that helped inspire you, to expand your knowledge, expand your growth, something to share with everybody. And I encourage you, as we go through this program, as you come across resources, as you come across, books, workshops, other networks to connect people to, a specific practice or some type of other technique that you want to share, don't just share it in the chat. Use the Discord channel, give the resources to the rest of the group here, okay? Because that's how we've managed to expand our knowledge, is often through the entrepreneurs we work with, and we get connected to awesome resources. So Jenny, thank you so much for sharing. Let me just turn this back on. All right, there we go. Okay. Just want to make sure we're okay for time. Give me one sec, guys.
Tracy, you have a question?
Yeah, I just don't want to interrupt. I just was wondering, with the Discord, do we have like a specific area to put those resources? I haven't really dived into the Discord yet.
I set up a channel on there called Shared Resources, but I'm going to add more channels as we know what we need to note.
Yeah, if you all have suggestions, feel free to send them our way. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about establishing kind of a personal vision for your business. And the first step in really good planning is to analyze, why you're doing this and what your personal vision was in the first place. By doing so, we become a lot better prepared to develop and grow our business that is actually right for us. A personal vision isn't something you may have created before, but it might be something that lives up here right now. It helps you to keep, in focus, that your business is part of a bigger life plan rather than the end, in itself. Now, having a personal vision, helps you and helps, how can it help you and help your business? Well, the idea is that the personal vision will capture, the lifestyle you desire, including the time you have for the business, the place you want to work, how involved your family is, and your financial goals. It also reflects your professional aspirations, including the type of work you enjoy, future professional goals, and the role you wish to play in the business now and as the business grows. Without it, how do you actually expect to know if your business is actually meeting your personal needs? And how can you plan for what might happen if your business does not end up meeting those needs? So here's a question for you all. How many of you actually have a personal vision that is written out, something that doesn't just live in your head? Just raise your hand if you have one that's written out. Okay. With everybody I can see is just everybody that had her hand up. So definitely think that this first action step for this program, which is action step 1.1, create your personal vision, is something that you're all going to get some value out of. You're going to have the opportunity to examine what is important to you and to create the type of life that is actually going to bring you satisfaction through this business. Because I meet with a lot of entrepreneurs, and a lot of them get to the point where like they ask themselves that key question: why am I even doing this in the first place? This isn't what I set out for. But and I ask them, well, what did you set out to do? And they say, well, I don't even know. I didn't write anything down. It just kind of became this monster. It became this, or it's become that. So we need kind of a starting point. So this is a critical step in developing the right business for you. By identifying this personal vision, you'll be able to determine whether this business is a good fit for you, not only today, but also in the future. So a personal vision, as we said, it includes both personal and professional goals. When defining a personal vision, you will have some personal choices to make. Do you want more opportunities to travel now or in the future? Do you prefer to be at the desk all the time, meeting with the clients, or behind the workstation doing the labor? Do you like to work with people or behind the scenes? You need to pursue a business that can support the actual lifestyle you envision. And we can't romanticize this, right? So really take the time to imagine what the reality of the day in and day out is in this company. Don't romanticize too much. Business is hard work, and we need to be real about what it is going to look like now and what it's going to look like, 3 years from now. So I want to know, we're going to do a little bit of a group discussion here. Do you want to maintain your current lifestyle, or are you hoping this business will allow you to create a new one? Okay. So key things to think about here. Actually, let's just ask the group here. Raise your hand if you're hoping to maintain your current lifestyle. Brittany? Anyone else? No? Okay, raise your hand if you are hoping this business will allow you to create a new type of lifestyle. Okay, the majority. Interesting. So key things to think about here. So if your plan is to eventually work in your business full time, but your business cannot, or in its current structure will not sufficiently support you, and for some of you also support your family financially, then long-term satisfaction with the business will be questionable. Whether we like it or not, our personal financial resources and the ability to attract external investment have a significant impact on start, development, and definitely growth of the business. So we need to plan accordingly. Last thing of note here, it is important to consider not only your personal needs, but those of any family members that are involved directly and also indirectly as well. Just because they might not have a hand in your business doesn't mean that they might have influence on it. Okay, so it's something to really think about. Don't put that off, because you may be building something now that might be small, but it could become very big, and that can really impact your family in the future. So they need to be ready for it, and you need to be understanding of what that vision and what that reality of day in, day out actually looks like. Okay. So,
Dave?
Yes.
Just one quick second. Abby, do you have a question, or is your
Sorry.
hand up?
No, it was from when Dave asked for
Okay.
us to have our hand, so I just had lowered it now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I can't see everybody right now. I can only see a few people on my screen because I'm screen sharing. So I apologize. Thanks, Kelsey. If you have your hand up and I haven't acknowledged you, or you put something in the chat, you can interrupt me at any time. This isn't like a standard classroom. I will not get offended if you cut me off. Okay. So let's talk about a bit about your vision from a professional perspective. So, entrepreneurship definitely can bring you limitless professional growth opportunities if you engage it, right? First step, though, is to define what is important to you in a professional life. Are you looking for power and status? How many people here want to take over the world? I don't know. Some people, they have that desire for control. They have a desire for recognition. But caveat here, beware that the quest for power, beware of a quest for power, because it is often driven by ego. which many entrepreneurs believe is one of the most negative traits to have as a business leader. Ego can drive you to stop listening to advisors, to your employees, to your customers, and it can make you start thinking that you're always right. So the pursuit of power and status, watch out for that one. But you definitely want to be pursuing something. It could be social interaction, right? That's why we're here. Your personal preferences for working alone or with others, definitely an important consideration as you develop and grow your business. Will you have frequent contact with colleagues and peers, or will most of your interactions be among people with whom you share little in common? A lot of people don't realize how lonely entrepreneurship can really be. So really think about this and figure out if that's something that is important to you and plan accordingly around it. If you're going to be alone all the time in the business, make sure you're planning for outside social excursions and things like that to help you feel a little less alone. I have quite a few friends that solo entrepreneurs that work out of their home, and that becomes kind of a bit of a black hole. So plan accordingly. Do you want to be, have involvement in the daily operations? Some entrepreneurs strongly feel that as founders, they want to be involved with everything. If you feel this way, you should take care to be, the majority owner and to control all the business decisions and limit your organization to a manageable size, right? If you want to be involved in the day-to-day, keep the company smaller. Of course, we look at expertise, skills, and preferences. Many entrepreneurs play to their strong suit and, buy services of others in areas where they are weak. You must know your strengths and your weaknesses in order to hire the appropriate outside help. Other professional criteria, job security, future professional goals, and then lastly, growth or lifestyle business. This is an important one as well. So a growth business is one in which fast growth is the goal. Now, growth businesses, however, may not always meet the personal objectives of you. The demands of a growing company are pretty complex and intense, and they can overshadow everything else, making it easy for an entrepreneur to neglect their personal lifestyle. I've been there. The goal of a lifestyle business, though, is to meet your personal objectives. And this may limit growth, but that's okay, right? Remember, this is about you and understanding your goals. So you must learn to balance and integrate your personal and professional lives based on your based on your vision for the future of your business. So key things to think about as you develop your vision. There are both risks associated with becoming and not becoming an entrepreneur, of course. Entrepreneurs, they reduce the risks, however, by writing a business plan in which is thoroughly researched on all aspects of the business. This means successful entrepreneurs take risks, but they are calculated. So developing a personal vision of your business requires you to know upfront the personal and professional choices that you are making so that you can mitigate more risk in developing the business. So you should consider your dreams, but also you need to be reasonable, okay? Conflicting goals that demand a compromise or a resolution will certainly become apparent through this process. So you may discover that some of your goals conflict with one another. It's okay. In that case, you just try to determine priorities or compromise between the conflicting goals. Ultimately, the outcome should reflect what you want your business to be. There are no wrong answers. The only mistake you can make is not to take the time to establish what is truly important to you. If you don't identify your goals, the rest of the business planning process is actually of very little value. So this is an important thing to go through. Okay, so action step 1.1, create my personal vision. This is to be completed before coming to our session on Thursday. So if you have any questions about this, I am available. Come and see me, talk to me. But I definitely suggest getting this done before your next session. If you're having troubles, open office hours are already readily available, but it's a pretty easy thing to go through. It's right in the manual for you. Any questions about this? We are good. Okay. What time do we have? 2:47. So we're a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. We're going to go over a business concept statement before our guest speaker comes in. So this is kind of we're going to showcase a little bit of the importance of a clearly defined business concept. And when we did our introductions today, we went around the table and I asked you all to kind of introduce yourself, introduce your business. And that's kind of what we're talking about when we say business concept statement. There's a lot of words for it. Value proposition statement, marketing statement. It's kind of just, elevator pitch. There's a lot of different ways we talk about our business. We need to get it right and we need to refine it. This program, you're going to get lots of opportunities to refine it. It all starts though first with writing it out, developing it, and then we have something to build from. So as entrepreneurs, we know we have to be able to communicate our business concept clearly and succinctly if we're going to try to attract investors, we're going to try to attract customers, we're going to try to attract vendors and all the others that we want involved in our business. So the business concept identifies your exact product or service to be offered and its purpose and your unique features, okay? Now, converting your idea or how you talk about your business into this concept statement requires you to think about how the product or service will be sold, who's going to buy it, the benefits of it, how it's differentiated from similar ones. Sorry, timer just went off. And lastly, the methods of delivery. Preparing a written statement will help you unearth critical components of your venture, begin researching key factors that will more thoroughly be addressed in your plan. As your business idea kind of, takes more form as a concept statement, you can certainly evaluate the business more efficiently from potential pitfalls and problems. That's another reason why we do it. And a clear business concept also will enable you to succinctly describe the precise nature of your company to everyone who might be a stakeholder, okay? And it is an essential skill for a successful entrepreneur. Example, it is not sufficient to say, I own a management consulting company. I'm Dave and I run a management consulting company. It's pretty vague, but I can tell you when I ask people quite often about what their business is, that's about the only answer I get. It's something that's like less than a sentence. Instead, what you might say is, I plan to start a management consulting company providing strategic planning services to mid-sized businesses in Southern Ontario. Each consulting team tailored to meet the unique needs of the client provides assessment and planning services to help clients improve efficiency and institute processes for innovation and change, resulting in cost reductions and sales increases. That is very specific. It is not my example. It is another company's example, but that's kind of where we want to get. We want to get to that level of detail so that if I ask you who you are and what you do, you can tell me everything in a couple of sentences about all kind of pieces of your company. This version tells a listener a lot more than that first version, okay? So we're going to do a little activity here. We might do it after our speaker comes back because we need about 10 minutes. Maybe Jen can hold off. We'll just push it just a little. Annette is coming and Darlene are coming at 3:30, right?
They were going to join at 3 because they wanted to hear Jen, but
oh, okay, no problem.
Join at 3, but they're speaking at 3:30.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're gonna do I'm gonna throw you guys in breakout rooms, and then when we come back, we're gonna have our guest speaker. Okay, so what we're gonna do, gonna get some practice in evaluating a concept statement, before you kind of write your own. So you guys all will need the day one Word doc on FOL. So if you haven't downloaded it, open it up on your computer right now and turn to page 26. Okay. So we're going to review the concept statement for the company called Donovan's Detail on page 26 in the manual. And then we're going to put you in breakout rooms of 3, and you're going to discuss and reach kind of a consensus about their business concept statement. So you're going to, it's easily laid out there. The instructions are all there for you. Each group will report kind of on their assessment of the concept statement when we come back from our guest speaker. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes, and then we'll do about 10 minutes of discussion when we come back. So I'm just going to make our breakout rooms right now. Before I do that, sorry, so anybody who can't access that document, because I can just send you the PDF. Jenny, you're okay. Cecilia, you have your hand up?
I don't see it.
Okay, it's just in the day one content on FOL, but I can just put it in the chat. Give me 1 second to open it.
It's a really large document. I think it's going to take a long time to send.
It's not the full one. It's just for day one. Should
okay.
Yeah. Where is file? Send file. There we go. Sorry, guys. File. There we go. Okay, there we go. And it's up there. Okay, so we'll make some breakout rooms now really quickly. I can't see that. There we go. So we've got 12 of us here. So 6. Okay, hold on. Almost here. I accidentally put Kelsey in a room here. 1 sec. Sorry, guys. Can you tell I don't use breakout rooms very often? Kelsey, how do I get you out of here?
Just put me in and I'll leave. It's fine.
Okay, I'll just recreate this. There we go. Okay. Abby, Ashley, Brittany. There we go. Okay, figured it out this time. Okay, they're open. Okay, Abby, Jenny, Rachel. Awesome. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, well, so I hope your breakout room session was great. We'll talk about the discussion afterwards. But for now, we have an amazing guest speaker joining us today for day 1. Jennifer Pate is with us, and Jen is a geographer, an entrepreneur, a storyteller, fascinated by human-environment interaction. Her passion focuses on environmental sustainability for and responsible accessibility to our global waterways, both large and small. She's been involved in a range of research, conservation, and sports expeditions in a diverse range of roles that have taken her to the top of mountains, on foot, and across oceans by sailboat. These explorations have inspired her business approach, ensuring her companies, both past and present, have always focused on how we can change our understanding, relationship, and impact with the world around us for the better. And with that, Jen, I pass it to you, and thank you for joining us. Take it away.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I am honored to be here on day 1. Like, this is the start of your journey, and aptly named, this is me talking about my entrepreneurial journey, which, spoiler alert, it is a journey. And you are going to go through so many different things over the course of however long you decide to be an entrepreneur. And I think once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. You're always going to have ideas and things that you want to do, and whether it's a business or it's an organization or just a project, you know, you're in a club where really it's an amazing community to be a part of. And there's so many different people that you're going to get to meet over, hopefully not always over video, but regardless, it doesn't matter whether they're on the other side of the planet to you. We can all be inspired by one another and we can all collaborate. So I'm going to share my screen. I do have some slides just because my journey has been a little bit, I guess, unique in terms of business. So I'm just gonna pop this up. Hello, hello, hello. Current slide. So can you guys just give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation? Excellente. Okay, perfect. So basically, I picked this photo because I'm an avid sailor, and I have been since 2014 when I signed up to cross the Atlantic, having never sailed before. And I think that in and of itself is kind of an indicator of who we are as entrepreneurs. We're okay, although we may be terrified, to kind of just try things out, to fly by the seat of our pants, to fail. I mean, and you'll hear this time and time again. Failures are a big part of learning, and they're a part of running a business, being part of business. It doesn't matter what position you're in. We're all going to have times where things don't go to plan. And what I've learned over the years of doing expeditions and really going outside of my comfort zone and learning to be comfortably uncomfortable is that magic is in the flexibility. It's having the vision about what you want to do, where you want your business to go, focusing on that, but also allowing it to be fluid, letting it change and shift as you change and shift. And the other thing that this picture highlights to me, you know, I'm at the top of this mast by myself. And one of the things that you may feel over your entrepreneurial journey is that sense of being alone. And that maybe if you don't have anybody in your personal circle who's also an entrepreneur, you can sometimes feel a little bit misunderstood, or like people just don't get it. They don't get why you don't take a day off. They don't get why you don't have weekends. You know, weekends don't exist. But they also don't understand the highs of being an entrepreneur and that sense of flexibility, that sense of freedom, that investment that we're making now so that we have that freedom in the future. So congratulations to all of you. I did have a chance to look over your profiles, and it's so awesome to see such a breadth of interests and breadth of background, and to know that you're all coming at this from a different focus, but you guys have so much to learn from one another and so much to learn from the Leap In team as well. So that's how I wanted to kind of start off. So this is a picture of my home. I'm very lucky. I live just outside of Bayfield, Ontario, with my family. So I live in a very unique circumstance in that my family all lives on a farm together. We do have our own homes, thank goodness, because space is key. But you know, we're very fortunate, and we have a 40-acre man-made lake, and we also have a full-scale Dutch windmill. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it's a really weird and wonderful place. And when we originally decided to move here, we were actually living in England at the time. So I spent my formative years in England. I went to high school, did both of my degrees over there. And the decision to move back from London, England to Bayfield, Ontario was not easy. In fact, I really didn't know what to expect, but I had an opportunity to open a business here on this property that I knew if I didn't do it, I would regret it for the rest of my life. And it was an opportunity to live and work outside. I had no idea what I was doing. I, you know, even though I had set up a business before, that failed miserably. I'll get to that later. This was really an opportunity to put the things that I had learned from those failures into hopefully something that would succeed. And I got a chance to move to this beautiful place. And as you can see, I'm not far from Lake Huron. I'm literally just down the road. So another thing that's been really close to my heart over my entire life has been water, and the ability to live on water and near water was something that I just couldn't pass up. Now, as much as this is my home, you know, this is also my home. And for many of us, you know, we're all based here in Southwestern Ontario. I mean, our home is the Great Lakes. Everything that we do at home, all the choices that we make, the consumer choices, the personal choices, they affect our local waterways, our greater waterways like the Great Lakes, which is still our backyard. And then eventually they flow out into the ocean. And so this is really where I started to change my idea of what I wanted to do and the impact that I wanted to have. And that's something that I think is key as entrepreneurs, is not just what you want to do, but who you want to be. What legacy do you want to leave? And it's never too early to start planning that, because everything that you do every day will compound to get you towards that vision, to get you towards that person that you want to be. And you may already be perfect, and good for you. That's awesome. I'm not. I'm still working on it every single day. But it's a really cool opportunity for you to bring those things alive through your business. And one of the things that I've certainly learned through my business here is that people want to get to know you. They want to know your story. They want to know where you come from, what makes you tick. When they buy your product, when they come for your service, they always want to meet the owner, because your business is you. And so don't forget to let those passions come out. People can tell. when it's authentic and it's a genuine passion, people can feel that coming off of you. They can feel that coming out of your brand. They can feel it in everything that you do, your social media, your website. Let that come through, and don't be afraid to just let that flag fly, because your passion is what is going to help you succeed. So don't ever be shy about that. So this is an image of the world. We've seen this a million times before. Why this image is so important to me is that it represents a place where I never thought I was going to get the opportunity to go. I was born here in London, Ontario, so where a lot of you are right now. And then I moved to England, and then I flew back and forth like a bazillion times over the 15 years that I lived there. And it wasn't until 2014, which, as I reflect back, and this is also something when I'm talking about legacy and what you want to leave behind, a really useful exercise that I try and do regularly with myself is, and it sounds a little bit dark, but think about your eulogy. What do you want someone to say at the end of your life? To be like, wow, that girl, she was awesome. Like, she brought so much energy and positivity, and look at all these things that, you know, she did, not what she had, but what she did. And so when I look back at even just this period of time that I spent, you know, flying back and forth from, you know, Canada to England and back, is I flew over the Atlantic Ocean countless times. I have no idea. I've never actually decided to add it up because I think it would just take too long. A lot of times. And in 2014, as I look back at my life so far, I think about it as, hopefully I make it to 90. And I think of the confluence of what happens sometimes with life is, at the same time that I had the idea to move back to Canada and set up this business, which I will talk about later, so don't worry about that, I also got the opportunity to sail across the Atlantic. And the combination of these two things literally changed the trajectory of my life and has continued to do so. And I think one of the things that you will already have as an entrepreneur is an open mind, a beginner's mind, an ability to see opportunities and the passion and the drive to grab them. So continue to do that, especially through this journey with Leap In, but also just the entire time that you decide to be an entrepreneur. But even if you don't, even if you say, you know what, being an entrepreneur isn't for me and we're going to work for someone else, never lose that beginner's mindset, because it is so valuable to realize that we're always going to be learning. We never know everything. And the day that you say you know everything, you're in trouble. So basically, I got this opportunity to cross the Atlantic. This is not a representative line. I just couldn't figure out how to do squiggly lines on PowerPoint. But basically, we went across the Atlantic. And I think this also represents how we as entrepreneurs, or we as humans, expect life to go. We expect one thing to lead to the other. And yes, as you look back, doing that exercise of the eulogy, you look back and you say, okay, everything just seemed to fit together. But that's not what life feels like. As we're going through life and we're figuring stuff out, we're failing and we're opening ourselves to opportunities, life is just one giant squiggly line. So embrace the squiggly journey and just enjoy it for what it is, because especially being an entrepreneur, you're going to have a lot more squiggles than your average bear. This is where I live. So I showed you that aerial shot, but this is actually an image of my business. Our business name is Windmill Lake Wake and Eco Park. And this is my elevator pitch. We are an award-winning outdoor recreation area focused on sustainable outdoor recreation. We focus mainly on water sports, including cable wakeboarding, stand-up paddleboarding, canoeing, kayaking, pedal boating. We also have a floating obstacle course called the Aqua Park. So back in 2014, had an opportunity to start this up. My business partner, Andy Oak, born and raised in Huron County, loved this area, was an avid cable wakeboarder and boat wakeboarder. We met on the off chance when my parents were looking at properties. And this just happened to be the way that we met each other. Was his dad showed us this property. And he had this great idea, and my mom and his dad got talking about what we were passionate about, and then they introduced the two of us. And I'm definitely an avid paddler and sailor, but I had never wakeboarded in my life. I didn't wakeboard until the day before we opened. So I went back to England. We planned this business long distance over the course of a year. I came back on the 1st of May and we opened on the 24th. So honestly, anything is possible. Whatever you want to do, as long as the vision is there and the passion is there, you can do it. I have no doubt whatsoever. So it's kind of hard to really understand the park, but we have 3 wakeboard channels. This is our beginner channel, our advanced, and our intermediate. Now, when you start a business, you start small, right? You kind of dip your toes in, figure out what people like, what people don't like. You listen, you kind of analyze your data. So we started a little bit bigger than that. We started with just 1 cable, but we put in basically a bi-level. So it's a 2-level wake park. And this was the first in Canada. And we were like, you know what? We're in Bayfield, Ontario. We got to put ourselves on the map. So we invested a lot of money and put in, and I didn't understand it, but I knew that Andy knew the industry, and I trusted him. And this is a big part. If you are, whether you are a solo entrepreneur, you need to trust yourself. And you should always trust yourself, whether you're in a partner, like a business partnership or part of a corporation, you have multiple partners. But when you do partner up with other people, you have to trust them. And that also comes into play when you start to have employees. The ability to delegate was not a strong point for me. It took me a really long time to get there. I'm still really not there, but I try. And like, it's just one of those things that if you especially have come from a background of like, I want to do this thing and this is my baby and I've made it, I've built it from the bottom up, it's really hard to then let that become something to someone else and through someone else. So that's something that's a discussion for a later point in time, because I know you guys are near the beginning, but it's really an important thing as you shift and grow and have your own business. You're going to play so many different roles over the course of your entrepreneurial journey. I've literally done an 8-year MBA as far as I'm concerned. I've just like dived in and just like flown by the seat of my pants, and I've done a terrible job with some things and a pretty good job with others, and pat myself on the back when I can. And it's just about, you know, believing in that you're going through this journey, and it's okay to not have it all figured out. But one of the things that I think is most important is starting small and growing organically. So really taking that time to realize what demand is there. What are people telling you? Like, be open to feedback. Because one of the things too, when you pour yourself into something, you can get a little protective, and you can be like not so open to criticism. And I mean, realistically, we always want to be encouraging each other to be, you know, constructively critical, right? We don't be like, by the way, that's a terrible idea. You know, okay, well, tell me why. You know, like, we don't want that. We don't want to do that to other people. We don't want people to do that to us. So when you pour yourself into your business and you live and you breathe it, it's really hard when people start to come back and be like, well, why'd you do it that way? I would have done it totally differently. Have you ever thought about this? And you're just like, oh, like, of course I thought about it. I don't want to talk about it. And it's okay to get a little defensive, but it's also really important to open ourselves to other people's opinions, realizing that people are entitled to their opinions. But at the end of the day, it's your passion, your journey, and your project, and you need to do what's true to you. However, what's really important to listen to is your customers. Listen to what they're asking for. And that can just be in casual conversation. The conversations that you have with people when you're connecting, you know, don't ever underestimate the importance of a review. You know, that ability for somebody to give you that feedback, that might be the decision of how you expand your business. So in our first year, you know, we set up our advanced cable, and yes, we taught beginner lessons, but we had beginners because of where we are. Nobody really had access to learning. And so we expanded to the beginner cable. And then we realized after a few years, okay, we've now got all of these people who are progressing from beginner to advanced, but that's a really big jump, terrifying obstacles in the way and just a huge mind game. So let's put in an intermediate. And that applies to any business. It's find those gaps, listen to what your customers are saying to you, be open to that feedback, take it in, work your way through it, and then make your decisions that way. And that's been one of the things that I've really learned over this journey with Windmill Lake specifically. And now we're going into season 8, which is crazy. It feels like yesterday. It's like the click of a pen. And Dave will tell you, this is how I met Dave, was through Windmill Lake. You know, he's been in the wakeboarding scene for a really long time. And one of the best parts about wakeboarding in here, especially in Ontario, is our community. And that's the thing, as an entrepreneur, you're going to meet so many people. You're going to be exposed to so many different opportunities to talk to different people, not just your customers, but other entrepreneurs. And I really encourage you to do that. I mean, you're already here, you already signed up, so, you know, you're already winning, but keep doing that. You know, never stop doing that, because there's so much to be learned, and they can gain so much from you as well. The experience and knowledge that you're going to gain over the course of this journey is going to be absolutely amazing. So keep going. Okay, I'm going to see, how am I doing for time? Am I okay? I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So as I mentioned, at the same time as I was setting up Windmill Lake, we did our first season, and then I had signed up to sail across the Atlantic. And as much as I was seasick for 11 out of 19 days, mainly because I was the filmmaker on board, so like everything was moving and then my camera was moving, and it was terrible. But I got over it, and I absolutely loved it. And I fell in love with sailing. I fell in love with exploring in this way. I'd done lots of expeditions before. This was my first time really going the slow way around and covering so much distance and being able to experience the ocean in a way that I never thought I was going to get a chance to. I mean, I looked out the window in the airplane like, wow, look at it's really far away. But to be able to be on it for 19 days with the same people with no access to anyone else. I mean, you're in the middle of the ocean. You're closer to people in the space station than you are to people on land. Like, this is a pretty remote place. And so I actually ended up then working for Pangea Explorations for the next 4 years, partnering with them, running expeditions. I was mission leader, mission coordinator, you know, for many, many moons, and had the opportunity to cover over 10,000 nautical miles. I would not have been able to do this if I hadn't been an entrepreneur. So your investment in what you're doing can potentially afford you the flexibility to follow other dreams that are in line with what you're doing. So have I made a lot of money? No. Am I happy? Yes. So, you know, focus not so much on the end goal of, you know, I want $1 million in my bank account. Good for you. Congratulations. That's great. Great aim. But like, focus more on the journey of getting there and who you need to be every day to get there. That's the most important thing. And for me, when we set up Windmill Lake, one of the most important things to me was that we were environmentally sustainable. So my background is geography and environmental management. I saw the opportunity with Windmill to be like, hey, cable wakeboarding is actually environmentally friendly. Why don't we promote this and make this a part of our value system? So these journeys that I went on in the off season fed back into all of my understanding about how we could be more conscious with what we were doing in our business here at home. What's really important too is we weren't just sailing for the sake of sailing. We're a conservation vessel and we're a research vessel. So we were also studying, specifically for me, the last 6 years is focused on plastic pollution. And you can get my website and see all the information there about the work done here. But really the opening of my eyes to really just that connection that we have in our environment. There is no way. We can't just get rid of something. Everything that we send out comes back. And it's the same with your thoughts. You know, if you're sending out positive, you're going to get positive back. If you're sending out negative all the time, or you're internally negative, you're going to get negative back. The loops are there for us with others and us and our environment. And so this was something that really shaped my approach to business. I mean, I've literally saved sea turtles wrapped in plastic in the ocean. It was a really terrible experience, but also brought home to me that if this is happening out there in the middle of the ocean, where I'm closer to people on the space station than I am to people on land, what's happening back home? And you know what COVID has done for a lot of us is it's taken our understanding and our relationship with the world and brought it right in. Like, we can't go anywhere. So if you now are forced to focus on your own backyard and your little, what I call slice of paradise, wherever you live, you know, I was already starting to kind of do that with my work, because I realized it's well and good to go out into the oceans, but what about back home? And that's when I set up the third business, which is Love Your Greats. And I really realized that if it was happening out there in the oceans, it's certainly happening back home. And over the course of, well, 6 years now, we've basically built up a community of people that share their passion for the Great Lakes and their connection. Because my belief is, if people don't have a personal connection with the environment, they're not going to be motivated to save it. So we have to facilitate that connection in order to instigate change. And I realized, well, Windmill Lake, I mean, when people look at it, they're like, okay, cable park and there's paddling and there's an aqua park and that's super nice. But what they don't realize is that recreation is a space for recreation of our relationship with the environment. If I've got someone out on a paddleboard for an hour and I'm teaching them to paddle, I'm also talking about the environment and saying, hey, did you notice the fish? Did you notice the birds? Did you know we have over 150 species of bird here? Like, there's almost like this like sneaky like environmental vibe underneath. And especially when you think about something like wakeboarding, you don't automatically associate it with being environmentally conscious, but we have an opportunity to sort of say, hey, the cables are run off electricity, our plan is to go off grid, we're actually aerating the lake, and just finding different ways that you can work your passion into your business. And I do encourage you, obviously, to try and think of ways that right from the get-go, you can form your business in a way that is environmentally and socially conscious. Like, try and work that in, because trust me, you will feel better every day knowing that your business is giving back and it's making the world a better place. Once again, think of the eulogy. What do I want people to say about me when I'm, lying there and they're all crying because they're super sad, but hopefully they're really happy that they got to know me. What do you want them to actually be saying about you and what you did with your life and what you did with your business? And for me, this is my jam. Like, I love to figure out ways that I can access new communities and bring this passion to the fore. And with Love Your Greats, we really had an opportunity to start from scratch. My business partner is from Bayfield. He's also an entrepreneur. He has a coffee shop here. So we're all super busy. We all do lots of different things. One of the main things when we first set up is that we decided we wanted to do a great big sort of citizen science engagement, because as I said before, if you don't create a relationship with an experience to the environment, how are you going to get people to protect it? And I had this crazy idea to get thousands of people out on the Great Lakes to take samples for microplastics. And for the purposes of this presentation, this is a picture of Sam Mason, and I can pretty much guarantee that none of you have ever heard of this woman. However, she is a rock star in the environmental world. She was my absolute hero, my plastics pollution hero. And whatever your jam is, whoever your heroes are, what I'm encouraging you to do by showing you this picture is reach out to them. The worst that they can say is nothing. And when I remember emailing Sam Mason with my crazy idea and being terrified and being like, oh, she's not even going to get back to me. And then she emailed me back. And then she said, actually, I think we should have a phone call. And I'm like, and I get on the phone and I'm all nervous and shaky and I'm kind of tripping over my words and I'm trying to explain myself, and she just goes silent. I got no feedback. And eventually she said, you know what, Jen, you're crazy, but I like it. And I was like, hey, great. And basically, because of her, she was my keystone person to this giant project that I ended up running in 2016, where we led the world's largest simultaneous sampling for microplastics in history, right here in the Great Lakes. So whatever your plans are, whatever your dream is, it doesn't have to be big like this. And trust me, I'm not going to do this again. This is exhausting, but I learned a lot and I can pass that knowledge on to others who want to run big projects, but is just talk to people, reach out to people. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid of rejection, because sometimes the reward that you can get from pushing through that fear is even better than you could even have imagined. So, we led shoreline cleanups and we did sampling. And for me, the big highlight here, which is also another lesson learned for business, is the stories that came out of it from people who took part on social media. but also the collaboration that we had between all of the organizations that we brought in. I really encourage you as an entrepreneur, it can be very easy to come at this from like a competitive mindset, but don't let it take over. Look for spaces for collaboration, look for those opportunities. Don't like, and Dave can attest to this too with the weight community, man, like there is no competition. It's like you get somebody to go and ride at your park, they're going to love it. And then they're going to want to come and try my park and they're going to have a great time. And then they're going to go on to the next one. Like that was a huge eye opener for me and really encouraged me to be like, wow, okay. Like just because we collaborate doesn't mean someone's doing better than someone else. In fact, we all grow. So don't be afraid to talk to people who are in the same industry as you. Find ways that you can align, find ways that you can work together. You know, don't be afraid to collaborate. It's one of the most powerful things that you can possibly do. So my eulogy at 32, what have I done so far? My tick boxes. This is as far as I've gotten. But what I've realized, like over the course of, you know, the last decade, I've set up 3 companies. So I didn't really talk too much about my film company that I started in the UK, and I ran it for 6 years. I had a lot of great experiences through it, never made a dime, not at all, like lost money, like lots of it, but had a great time. And I learned a lot about how to not run a business, and how to have faith in myself and to price things properly, because it's really hard when you're first starting out to value yourself correctly. It's really easy to do a lot of stuff for free. Start to charge something, just do it. It's scary and it can be really overwhelming, but just start doing it because it gets easier. And then, you know, I've got Windmill Lake and I've got Love Your Greats and all the things that I've done around it, but it's not about what I've done for me. It's about who I am and how do I show up for myself every day, and how do I show up for my business, and how do I show up for the other people around me. And what I've really realized, and I think what COVID has forced a lot of us to do, is to not focus so big. You know, realize that what you do here, like if we just specifically look, and this is why plastic pollution is such a great example, whatever I do here impacts somewhere else at a future point in time. If I'm to throw something into the Great Lakes, it's going to float to the Atlantic, it's going to travel all over the place, and eventually it's going to end up on someone else's beach. Still my problem. You know, how do we start to be a part of the solution rather than the problem? And what I've realized over the last, especially the last sort of 3 years, is I've got to stop doing so many things. And I really want to focus down on making sure that the work that I do is not a mile wide and an inch deep, but an inch wide and a mile deep. Because I've started these things, I'm exhausted, you know, and we all get to that point when we're trying to do too much. And we realize if we're spread too thin, we can't do justice to any of the things that we want to do. And we end up getting disappointed and we get stuck in ruts and stuff like that. So if you can, whatever your passion is, you know, let that be what it is. And I've got another thing on here, which I just think is really important, because I am someone who only recently discovered self-care and like doing things that are good for me, because I realized that I was going to burn out, and I did burn out around 30 and kind of was like, whoa, okay, that was too much. Self-care is not selfish. And as an entrepreneur, you want to be childlike, but not childish. So collaboration, open to opportunities, excited about everything, you know, and if you're down, be down, but then wake up the next day and get back up. Like, don't, you know, by all means, fester in it, swim in it until your fingers get all pruny, and then be like, okay, cool, that was yesterday, let's go. So that's kind of where I'm going to end for you. Just like some of my takeaways: always have a beginner mindset. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out to your heroes. The worst that can happen is they don't respond, but you know that you took the risk. And that is what being an entrepreneur is. It is risk taking, and it is really, really powerful. So, you know, pat yourselves on the back for even starting this journey. 2, have a vision, know where you want to go, but let it be fluid. Let it change as you change. You know, we're not the same people within a year. People, they tend to overestimate what you can do in a year, but underestimate what you can do in a decade. Let it grow, let it be what it is. It's all good. As long as you can say to yourself, okay, like I always say to myself, what would best Jen do? What would Jen do who wants to be that person in 10 years? Like, what am I doing today? Am I aligned with what I want to do? Or am I hurting myself, hurting that future vision? And then, really think about who you're surrounding yourself with. This is a big one. Really, try not to swear, but don't hang out with shitty people. Just don't do it. Surround yourself with people that believe in you. If you have people who are constantly doubting you, limit your interactions. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it could be a parent, it could be a sibling, it could be your partner. It can be really, really hard. But recognize that there's ways to set up healthy boundaries, and that if you believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing and in your business, that you will succeed. So I hope that some of that's been useful for people. I hope that I didn't go over time, but thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Jen. That was an amazing presentation. You crushed it. I have to ask, have you ever done a presentation like this before, like talking about you as the entrepreneur?
No, not really. It's normally it's talking about plastic pollution. So
well, yeah. I have to say, for your first go at this, I think you knocked it out of the park. It was very inspiring. There's so many tidbits in there that I kept picking up, and I saw a lot of pens moving. So I think there was a lot of notes taken. I love the eulogy. I use kind of something similar, like a business epitaph, same thing. I love that, knowing that there is going to be an end one day, and what you want to leave behind is very important. It really helps to put things in perspective. And I loved your point on going deep, not wide. I am someone who constantly keeps going wider, and I'm learning as I get older that it is much more important, and it leads to a lot more success if you can go a lot deeper in one area. So Jen, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your squiggly lined journey with us. I think that was awesome. That's great analysis. And I thank you for, inspiring this group of people on our first day. I think there's a lot to ruminate on, a lot to think about here, guys. And Jen, would you mind if we added you to our network of connections of people that, you did mention how important it is to, connections that drive business, goals is super important. So I hope that you'd be open to connecting with everybody, if that's okay.
Absolutely. So you can, I don't know if you have a formal way of doing that, but you can also just find my website, it's jenniferpate.com, and you can email me through there. And then if this summer things open up and you want to come up to Windmill Lake and hang out outside, then that would be awesome.
I'll be there, Jen.
I know. You better.
One day, I hope we can bring a group back up there. It would be a lot of fun, like we did a couple of years ago. But with that, I will say thank you. And does anyone have any questions they want to ask Jen? We only have like a couple of minutes because we're quite a bit over 1 minute. Any burning questions? No, that's okay. We were behind before you got here. So
perfect.
I have a question. And it's about the trip. You said you've never crossed the Atlantic in the way that you did. And was there a point in time that you regretted it? Because I can imagine that's a lot of things could happen. Was there a point that you regretted it? And after overcoming that, what did you get out of that specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think on, probably day 10 of being seasick and wanting to literally just jump off the side of the boat and live in the ocean, there maybe was a hint of regret. But, as I was kind of saying, as an entrepreneur, it's really who you surround yourself with, and the people that I was with on that journey, like they were like coaching me through it every day. And it was the belief in the purpose of the trip too. It carries you through, right? If you know that what you're doing is leading to something better, you can put up with any kind of discomfort in the short term, right? Even longer term, 11 days, that was a long time. I was like, am I going to be seasick forever? Like, is this just my life now? But it wasn't. Eventually it clicked. And then, there was a point at which I was like, wow, Jen, like you really, there was a moment there where you were really contemplating just jumping over the side. But, you know, I feel proud of myself for pushing through it. And I have zero regrets now. And even at the time, you know, day 11, I still had no regrets. As long as, you know, it's the same for you guys starting your business. It's like, there's going to be times that are going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be times where you feel like you're struggling and you're down, and like, just push through it. You can do anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Some great question, Evie. And I know, I'm sure there's more questions that want to come in here, but we have Darlene and Annette that are going to share some stuff with us now. So we're going to have to say farewell for now, Jen, and hope to see you in warmer weather. Definitely recommend going to Windmill Lake, guys. It's a lot of fun. Even if you've never paddled or wakeboarded or aqua parks before, there's something there for everybody. So definitely check it out when things open up this summer. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.
Take care. Okay, now I know we're well over time, but we want to take a minute and recognize two awesome ladies here, Annette and Darlene O'Neill. And they're just going to share a little bit about themselves with you guys and something inspirational, I'm sure, because that's usually what they both bring to the table all the time. So ladies, take it away. I don't know who's going first. Fingers are being pointed.
I guess she's pointing at me, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jen's a tough act to follow. Just saying, and I think that's why Annette put me on the stand. So my name is Darlene O'Neill, for those of you that I have not had the pleasure to meet. I'm the Director of Employment and Student Entrepreneurial Services at Fanshawe. So I'm responsible for the oversight of Leap Junction and Co-op and Career Services and Community Employment Services. And I'm super excited with this cohort. I actually, as Jen was speaking, I was writing notes like crazy. A little bit about me. I've been at Fanshawe for 10 years this year. In August, it'll be 10 years. Some of the best 10 years of my entire career. And myself, along with Annette, were the, I'll say, founders of Leap Junction. I found the funding and Annette brought the magic to life. And together we have seen so many of you wonderful, amazing, creative, brilliant people creating businesses and building friendships and building supports. And I listened to Jen and a couple of things that she said were real, true career development messages that apply everywhere. The obituary is a tool that in my day when I was a career counselor, I used to ask people to write their obituary just to figure out who they were. And Jen clearly stated, know who you are. And the other message that she stated that's a real career development message is focus on the journey. So every step along the way is an important step in your journey. And every connection you make, she talked about who is your hero. You'll have many, many heroes throughout your life, and take and give what you can and what you can give, what you can take and what you can give from your heroes, and be a hero. That would be another piece of advice that I would give you. Jen talked about authenticity and what do you want your legacy to be? And remember that as you're building your businesses and making connections and building friendships that I know you're going to build this summer because I've seen it happen. And it's okay to not have it all figured out. I think that that's a lesson that you need to remember, that, you know, we don't all jump into this world knowing everything and knowing our path, and it is a squiggly line. And that's something that we need to give ourselves permission to say, it's okay. I looked at all of the businesses and I'm really excited. And I just tried to find one word from each of you. And I found everything, I think, from A to Z, just about candles and music and menus and media and upcycling and hair and masks and service dogs, and we'll connect who's the service dog person, illustrators, photography, videography, and dairy. Like, how diverse is that? It's just absolutely amazing what Fanshawe and Leap Junction brings to the community. So I won't talk anymore because it's the end of the day for all of you, and you've got a really long, exciting I think it's 9 weeks. Is it 9 weeks still?
12.
Well,
12. Holy moly. 12 weeks ahead of you. You'll be seeing lots of me. I'll be popping in and out because I'm super nosy and I love meeting all of you guys. Enjoy what you're going to learn. Take advantage of this opportunity because it is an opportunity. It's a really great opportunity. Just grow and connect and ask lots of questions and be engaged and build relationships and have a lot of fun. And thanks for inviting me, Dave and Kelsey. You and Jenny, you guys are in the absolute best hands. These 3 people are so amazing. What they can pull off as a team of 3 just blows me away consistently. So you're in really good hands, as you've seen by what Jen just offered, and just really enjoy yourselves. And I think I'm going to talk to Jen and see if I can hire her to speak at our student conference because she was phenomenal for a first time. So I'll turn it over to Annette. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Darlene. That was wonderful.
Hi, everyone. My name's Annette Markvoort, and as Dave said, kind of Leap Junction and Leap In are kind of my baby. So when Jen was talking about your passion and your baby and your business, I'll have to tell you that Leap Junction and Leap In are definitely one of mine. And she did say that it's really hard to delegate, but I would say it is really hard to delegate. But when you trust the people you're sending it off to, it doesn't matter, because Dave and Kelsey and Jenny they've done an amazing job. They've kept the spirit of what I delivered to Leap Junction in Leap Junction, and especially within the Leap In programming. It blows me away how they've expanded this and done so many great things and added their own flavor to it. So you guys are in for a treat. I came to the college, I think this summer it'll be 7 years ago. And I was lucky because Darlene took a bit of a leap on me by hiring me from outside the college. I was running my own business for a long time and was looking for something different. And this was a great opportunity to take everything I'd learned about running a business and apply it to Fanshawe College, because there was some funding that came through the province to set up an entrepreneurship center. So I got to take all that stuff and build workshops and pitch competitions and the summer incubator with some great people. So you guys are going to gain the benefits of all that creative thinking that we did together to bring this programming to you. I think the most important thing that you need to do this summer is to network. I was an entrepreneur for many years, and you're so focused on your business, your head's down, you're doing your own thing, and you kind of lose track of what's going on around you. If you become very isolated, it can happen, I should say. You can become very isolated. And part of working, and I had worked on a corporation, not a number of them before that, was that you automatically have a team around you, or you have colleagues that you work with or you deal with every day. But as an entrepreneur, you can often, especially during COVID, you can be sitting at your own desk doing your own thing. And so I think the best part about Leap In is the fact that you are together with other entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter that you have different projects and different passions. There is a journey here together, and these are people that are going to be in your network going forward. And one of the biggest things we created when we created Leap In was the fact that community was important. And you're going to learn about other supports within the City of London. You're going to learn about how to connect with people. They're going to connect you to people that have similarities and differences. Just take all of that in, because that is the best part. So when you leave Leap In eventually, you can still reach out to the colleagues that you've made here, and I suspect they'll probably connect you to some of the ones that have already come through the programming, and you create your own team of colleagues, your own supporters, your own partners who understand how hard it is at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're worried about where the next sale is going to come from. So that is the most precious piece around Leap In, and I think the one thing that we have worked very hard to try to build community around you and to give you support as you go forward. I mean, Jen, she's a tough act to follow. Man, I'm texting Darlene saying, what about her as an inspired keynote speaker? She's awesome. Anyway, she had lots of great things to say, and those will all be reinforced in many ways with different speakers and different exercises over the next little while. I'm so proud of this particular program at Fanshawe, and Kelsey and Dave presented this to our colleagues across the nation, and many people there were impressed with what they're doing. So you guys are in for a treat. Enjoy the ride.
Can I just add, have fun? Like,
Yes.
It's not all business. Like, have
No.
some fun. You'll have lots of giggles and laughs. And what did Jen say? Be childlike, but not childish.
That's what she said. Yeah, she did. That's a very important piece to keep in mind. It's, you only got one journey on this life. Make sure it's a fun one.
That's right. I couldn't agree more. I am an adult who refuses to grow up. So yeah, I'm here to have a lot of fun with you guys too. And, I'll have to apologize now because Kelsey and I are really into puns and terrible old people shows that we love puns and jokes. Yeah. So we may put some jokes out there that, just laugh at them. Okay. Even if you don't find them funny, please.
We had a real hard time the first year we took over this program from Annette. We thought we were so clever with all of our jokes about The Office, and we got deadpanned. It's when we realized we were old. So hopefully some of you are old enough to have seen The Office, because you'll get the jokes anyways, whether you laugh or not.
Exactly. Thank you so much for the kind words, both Darlene and Annette. It's awesome to have you both here and kick off the first day as we embark on this long 12 weeks together. I just have a couple things I want to wrap up with you guys. Does anyone have any questions for Darlene or Annette before we finish up for the day?
While you ponder your questions, just a quick note. So Darlene and Annette, this is the same link for every session. They typically run from 1 to 4. So you are welcome to drop in at any time. For the group here, if our kind of organizational structure is a little bit wonky in what it is. So you have Dave and I as your primary coaches through this. Jenny's going to be helping us out with blogging and social media. And then Darlene and Annette are sort of our supervisory mavens. So they'll swoop in every once in a while to possibly offer some advice, but they do work with us as well. So they're also great resources if you have any questions, particularly around organizational structure and leadership. Both of them have a lot of experience in those areas. So if you have questions about them, we'll make sure that their contact information is available to you as well. And we'll be seeing them. They'll pop in and out. Right? Right. right, Kels.
Awesome. Okay, so I know that I want to jump back in and screen share this with you guys really quick. There were some things that we didn't cover today. Obviously, the first day we never know really how long it's going to go. And I'm happy that it went longer and Jen's talk was a bit longer because it was great. And but we have some action steps that you guys will see in FOL that are kind of your homework pieces. The only one we covered today was just kind of the action step 1.1, create my personal vision. So take some time between today and tomorrow, just go through that sheet, have a look at it, start filling it in. It's pretty easy to fill out. And we started to get into the business concept statement a little bit. You guys went into that kind of breakout room. We'll debrief that tomorrow. And then we'll go over evaluating that concept against your personal vision tomorrow as well. I'm also going to post the readings that'll be up for Thursday. I'll put those up before end of day today. Just another chapter for you guys to check out. Now, speaking of tomorrow, because I've had a few questions come in, it's a little bit of an odd format tomorrow because we have former Leap Junction staff member and inspirational entrepreneur Marley Harris joining us, but she's going to lead us all the way from Bali, which has a 12-hour time difference. She really wants to do it live, but I understand, that means you'd have to join us at 9:30 in the morning. Some of us are going to be there. I'll be there. Kelsey can be there. Jenny's going to be there. Annette and Darlene, you're invited as well. Marley is going to be talking on the entrepreneurial mindset. So that being said, you can choose to join us in the morning. You do not have to. It will be recorded, and we will show the session at the beginning of 1 p.m. tomorrow as well. So if you can't make it in the morning, we'll show it after. It will be 1 hour. So if you do come to the morning session, you will join us then at 2 p.m. Instead of 1 p.m., if that's okay with you. So I encourage you to join us if you can. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Marley brings a certain sense of bubbly energy that the rest of us just can't match. So I'm excited to see her and hear her talk. And with that, I think that is kind of it for the day. So I want to say great job. This will be the longest session we will have in the whole program. So I apologize that we went over time today. But there's lots to cover in the first day. If anyone is feeling overwhelmed, wants to talk, please let me know. Happy to chat. I'll be around till 5. Just shoot me an email. And if you have any questions about things on FOL or any of the documents, please definitely reach out to one of us as well. Any questions before we sign off for the rest of the day today?
Yes. Sorry, I cut. You can, whoever's talking, you can go first.
No.
Just quick, you said we went over time, but we're only a minute over time. So does that mean that, are we normally 1 to 4?
Yeah, we're normally going to try to wrap it up by 3:30. That's the goal at the latest. Yeah.
Okay.
We'd like you to keep your schedules held until 4 because we tend to go over time when we set for 3:30. We've set a hard close of 4, which we're now passing. But yes, I know we've chatted before about you have to go get your kids at 4. So we're trying really hard to make sure that we are done at 4.
Everyone's at home, don't worry.
Oh, perfect. Well, we're good then. We're still going to try for 4 to be done by 4 though.
Sorry, my question was with regards to like our homework tonight. This is in that file that we just downloaded.
It is, yeah. So it is
Okay.
just, yeah, the homework is to just go through the your personal vision and go through the reading over the next 2 days.
Can you tell me what pages that starts on, just so that I'm not overwhelmed trying to find it?
Sure, I will shoot an email to everybody that lays it out really clearly.
Awesome, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jenny.
Thanks, guys. I have to go. My kids are probably gonna die of starvation. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Take care. Kelsey, anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're good. We appreciate your time and attentiveness. We know that we made your break short and kept you a little long, but we will endeavor to be a little bit more regimented on making sure we have some bio breaks and time to go grab some more coffee as we continue on. But yeah, just a small reminder that typically this program is 8 hours a day. We're delivering our sessions in 2.5. So those readings are what are meant to take up your other time, readings and working on your business. So just a brief reminder of this is what you signed up for, and we're hoping that you're still excited about that choice. Yeah, Steve and Janan are like, oh, what did we sign up for? We've been there.
They're not like 30-page textbook readings like you would have in a course, so don't worry.
No, you're all
relatively
students,
short.
you're all used to this amount of reading. It's not going to be comparable to that.
Yes.
I can guarantee you at the end of your 12 weeks, you will be teary-eyed saying goodbye. I absolutely guarantee you. And I can't wait to see it. I'm watching all your faces right now, and I can't wait to see the end result of 12 weeks and the relationships. It's pretty special. And the homework is all worth it.
That's right. Awesome.
Very true.
Okay. Well, it was lovely to have you all here today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being patient. I'm excited to see what happens over the next 12 weeks. And with that, I will see some of you. We'll see some of you at 9:30 and the rest of you at 1 or 2 p.m. Awesome. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Bye. Good night, everyone.